Maurice Ashley came to America as a child from Jamaica and made history in 1999 when he became the first Black Grandmaster of chess. He is now giving back by teaching chess to youth around the world to improve their lives. Maurice has received multiple awards for his contribution to the game and was inducted into the United States Chess Hall of Fame in 2016 and the Brooklyn Technical High School Hall of Fame in 2018. He joins me today to discuss his chess career. Welcome, Maurice. How are you? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Okay, so I don't know anything about chess. I know there's kings and queens and rooks and bishops and pawns, and I'd probably be the pawn that would get knocked out first.
That's a lot. That's a lot more than other people know.
Tell me, what is a Grandmaster?
Grandmaster is the highest title that you can have in chess. It's like your 10th dan in karate, right? It's the best of the best.
So it's not a black belt. It's like 10th degree black belt.
Exactly.
What goes into becoming a Grandmaster?
Actually, it's quite specific what the requirements are. The International Chess Federation, called FIDE, which is in charge, the governing body in charge of all international titles in chess, they have regulated it very specifically that you have to get these so-called norms in competitions against other international grandmasters and international masters as well. Top players essentially around the world. So if I may use a basketball analogy, imagine in order to become an all-star, you had to play 10 people, and the 10 people would be LeBron James and James Harden and Steph Curry and the top players. And so in order to become that, you had to go one-on-one against them. And then they said, well, listen, if you can go one-on-one and beat 5 of them, you might lose 5, but if you beat 5 of them, you're in with the club. Now, against that club, you might just beat 2 of them, right, and then be like, this guy can play. So they have it very mathematically set out based on ratings, and we have to do that in competition against other grandmasters as well in order to prove ourselves.
What did it take to become a grandmaster?
Personally, I mean, the study was hours and hours every single day. We're talking minimum 5, most likely 8 to 10, where you're just pouring yourselves into chess books. You're going over grandmaster games from the past. We can record all the games. So that's really a useful tool for studying the best moves from the past. Chess has an amazing history. It goes back 1,500 years in a different form, about 500 years in its present form. And you have all the great players in history going into the Italian game in the 1600s, Philidor in France in the 1700s, discovering new methodologies. You go into the 1800s, and you get Paul Morphy, who was a top American player. You come into the 20th century, you get the rise of the Russian school, and now it's the internet age, the digital age, and all of it you have to study, digest, imbibe, just figure out what are the best techniques that I can learn, and then create your own so that you can surprise people.
Chess started, I guess, the Roman era.
The best historical records we have for chess give its roots in India and around the 5th century. The game we play right now, we just call chess. The Chinese call Western chess, but it's proliferated to over 200 countries.
And probably one of the oldest games that survives to this day, I would assume. Right?
Absolutely. And it's a fascinating game because its continuity has shown that it's a metaphor for human thought. The fact that people embrace the game of chess and talk about chess that way, how it helps strategic thinking and planning and decision-making and the like, shows that it somehow marries well with the human mind and the way we think abstractly. And everybody understands the power, the potency of chess as a metaphor for life.
Now, you're originally from Jamaica, right?
Correct.
What is your family's immigration story?
My mother first came here ahead of us. She had 3 children, my older brother, Devon, my younger sister, Alicia, and of course, myself. And she had the opportunity to come to the US in the 60s as part of the whole immigration movement at the time in the Caribbean. And she came to New York City. She worked as a nanny at first and then found an office job and spent the next 10 years getting herself stabilized and getting our papers in order. And it was 10 years later, August 28th, 1978, when we finally got a chance to move and be with her. We were living with our grandmother, her mother, at the time for those 10 years.
When were you introduced to chess?
Jamaica was a big games place, still is. Everybody played board games, some dominoes, some draughts, some ludi, and chess happened to be one of the games that my brother picked up with his friends. I was a young child, 8, 9 years old at the time. We played casually, but it wasn't until I came to the States, went to Brooklyn Tech High School, that I saw a friend playing, and I remembered I knew the rules of the game, played him, he crushed me. I found a chess book. I didn't go looking for it. It actually found me in the library. I opened it up, read it, went to play him again to beat him with all the strategies I found in the book. He crushed me again. Turns out that he had read that book and a bunch of other books. But that started the love affair, the competition between me and that friend of mine. It's a whole attitude. It's a mindset of excellence and performing at the highest level.
So what did your parents think about your fascination?
With the vision of us getting a college degree and getting real jobs, accountant, lawyer, doctor, good, solid jobs that made sense to her, get married, have some kids, and have a good life. I told her chess when I was in high school. She looked at me like I had 3 eyes. What are you talking about? Chess? I remember when I got my master's title from playing in chess tournaments, and I got a certificate sent home. That's all it was. And I showed it to her, and she looked at it. She said, first words out of her mouth, "Where the money there? Where's the money? Like, show me the money. What is this?" I was like, what? So no, she did not approve. She called my father up. They were separated. She called him up and said, "Talk to your son. He's got this chess thing on his mind. Please convince him otherwise." And he said, "Don't worry. He's going to quit it soon. No problem."
4 years later, here you are. So who shaped your chess knowledge as a child?
I got my hands on any book I could, library, I lived in it, and studying on my own. But eventually, I had a very fortunate, formative experience where I met a group of African-American males, largely African-American, they were also Latino, who loved chess. They played in the parks and they played in each other's homes. And I got to play against them. They allowed me to come in the group, not so that they could teach me, but so they could whoop my ass and put me in my place.
These were older men?
Yes. These guys were, I would say, 5 or 6 to 18 years older.
Now you mentor children yourself. So you're doing formal mentoring, something you really didn't, you're describing you never had. So where do you teach chess?
My formal mentoring days, teaching days with kids began actually in the late 80s. I've got a group of kids from Brooklyn and from Harlem in particular, a group called the Raging Rooks that I taught for a couple of years, took them to the middle school, junior high school, they call it championships, and they won the national title. They ended up on the front page of the New York Times. Harlem teenagers checkmate a stereotype was the headline. And it's been a love affair of mine to impact kids' lives through chess since then. Today, I actually oversee a chess program for the Police Athletic League, Clint DA's office here in Brooklyn. And we have a couple of centers. I have teachers going in, guide those teachers, make sure that everything's running well. We're talking about pre-COVID. And why it's great for kids is it teaches great decision-making. It teaches you to understand that there are consequences to every single decision, clarity of thought, goal setting, understanding that there is someone else on the other side who is just as smart as you are, if not smarter. You have to respect their ideas. It's not all about you. It's a whole discipline masking as a game.
Besides the mentoring you're doing here, you're also mentoring children all over the world, including Africa. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about my trips to Africa. I've been to 8 countries in Africa now. And I particularly started some programs that are in West African countries, specifically Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. And I've gone to those places now a couple of times, found the best kids in the country, working with the chess federations there, and working with those kids, teaching them chess, giving them ideas of how to improve. It's been wonderful to work with those kids. They're passionate about the game. They don't have a lot of resources, so we try to bring in resources and have that hands-on connection as well. And it's been incredibly satisfying to teach those kids, but not only that, but to go back to the motherland. And it's just, it helps me as much as it helps them.
Did you ever think you were going to become a chess grandmaster?
I was obsessed by the idea of becoming a chess grandmaster. Chess found me. It infected my soul, my mind, what I wanted to do every single day. I had found my passion. You're talking about literally 40 years later, I'm still a student of the game. I wasn't just trying to become a grandmaster. I was trying to become the best grandmaster on the planet. That's a tall order by itself,
Right.
but I was trying to become the world champion. So Grandmaster was a step along the path. So when I became a Grandmaster, yes, I was deeply gratified by it, but the road didn't end there. Unfortunately, life took me other ways and I never became the best player ever. But I'm quite satisfied.
Did become the first Black person to ever become a Grandmaster. I believe, you can correct me, you're also the first Jamaican to
That
become
is correct.
a Grandmaster. How does that make you feel? What does it mean to you?
Well, I would say it's a mixed bag. Certainly, I'm extremely proud to have accomplished what I accomplished. Coming from the background as you described it, it was a lot to overcome. And I'm proud to represent Jamaica, and I'm proud to represent people of color in any endeavor. It's an honor and a privilege and a blessing. At the same time, it really shouldn't matter. It's ridiculous. Everybody can be great. Everyone should have the opportunity, not have to overcome overwhelming odds in order to be successful. And it should not be noted that, oh, by the way, you're Black. Like, I got that. But you know what I am? I'm a guy who worked my tail off, had a dream, pushed as hard as I could, and finally accomplished that goal of becoming a Grandmaster and reaching the heights in something that I love dearly. And that's what life should be about. So I consider it the problem of our society that we have these labels and distinctions on humanity. But at the same time, I'm very real to the fact that they do indeed exist. And it matters that we have representation. If I can be one example in the stream of many examples that we have that are unrecognized at the moment or under-recognized, then I'm proud of that.
So what did your mom think when you were able to finally become a Grandmaster? Did she come around?
I tease her all the time when she's bragging to her friends. I say, wait. I remember when. She's exceedingly proud. Absolutely. She's got articles and pictures, my Hall of Fame plaque in her home. She's very, very happy right now.
So what's the state of chess in the United States right now?
Chess is actually thriving worldwide, and in America, absolutely. We've had the kind of boom that one would not have expected recently, I think because people in administration, schools, after-school centers, they recognize the benefits of chess, and it's so cheap. It's an inexpensive way to teach kids the skills that we all want them to have. And the kids have fun doing it. So we've had an amazing boom in the US. We also have had a great increase in the skill level of players in the United States. So now we're the #2 highest rated country on the planet, the top 10 players, just behind Russia. And we've recently won an Olympiad, which we haven't done in over 70 years.
Do you see a lot of minorities and immigrants excelling in chess, participating in chess?
If you go to a national championships, talking about elementary school, middle school, high school, you'll find an incredible level of diversity.
That's amazing.
Kids coming from all walks of life, all over the country. And it's wonderful to see chess be the great equalizer as these kids intermingle, get to meet each other and realize that we all can come together and play. And that should be representative of what we do in life.
So you're also the author of Chess for Success and several other books about mastering the game. Where can people find your books and find more out about you?
Hate to say it, but you got to go to Amazon. You can go to my website and check out a lot on mauriceashley.com. And so I'm coming out with some new material, including an app that I'm developing, or I should say redeveloping, refreshing an old app from back in the day. I'm updating it, including a little trash talking element as well. So it's going to be fun. So you can look for it in all the stores. It's going to be Maurice Ashley Teaches Chess. It's called Match, which is kind of cool. Maurice Ashley Teaches Chess. You get that? And I'm going to be also starting a Twitch channel. You go on Twitch and look up GM Ashley. You'll see me running my mouth, giving instruction, playing people, doing puzzles, talking all things chess. And that also should be starting soon. So get to my website or follow me on social media. At my various social media places I'm on.
Tell me what the American dream means to you, and have you achieved it?
My mom came to the United States with a dream, and the dream was really very simple. It was to get herself to a place where she could bring her children up to make sure they had a better life, they thrived in an environment that would recognize their talents and reward their hard work. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she was 64 when she took on the task of raising 3 grandkids after having had 7 children of her own in a time when she was elderly and could have just sat back and relaxed and gone into her twilight years. She took it on to raise her daughter's 3 kids. And I never got to see my grandmother after I left Jamaica, which profoundly affects me to this day. But the dream of those 2 women was that we would be successful, that we would reach our highest heights. My brother became a world champion kickboxer 3 times over. My sister became a 6-time world champion boxer.
Wow.
And I became a history-making grandmaster. We're living the dream of those 2 great women. And I would say, yes, we did achieve the American dream.
Well, I can say those 2 great women did a great job. And congratulations to you on being a grandmaster and all the great work you're doing with chess. And best of luck to you in your future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.